Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Medical Writing Story Series. And today I'm happy to welcome our guest, Sagar. And Sagar is a seasoned professional in medical communications, HEOR, and market access. And he has a rich background in pharmaceutical research. Thank you for joining us here today. I'm looking forward to hearing about your journey in medical writing. Can you start by sharing your background and how you transitioned from a research scientist in pharmaceuticals to a medical writer and some of the key influences and decisions along that path?
Sure, yeah. First of all, thank you for having me, Josh. It's a pleasure to be here and share my experience with audience. So I have healthcare background, so I'm a pharmacist. I studied pharmacology as my major during my master's. And on that basis, I started working as a research associate in one of the pharmaceutical companies. It was a neuroscience department. So I got into developed interest for neuroscience at that time. I'm talking about like 2013. Um, then for that reason, I started looking for any PhD positions available for in like neuroscience programs, and I got opportunity to do it at Western University, London, Ontario, Canada. Again, because of my neuroscience background, right after my PhD, I got absorbed as a senior research associate in one of the small pharmaceutical startups. It was a research company again. I worked there for 4 years. During this tenure, I figured out that these are all complex scientific ideas, different experiments we run, we get the results, but there is a very large demand for professionals who could translate that information, complex information, for a broader audience in a simpler way. And that's how I got into medical writing. I liked it. And after deciding, I want to go to medical writing, I started as a freelance writer first. With that opportunity, I had several projects related to neuroscience in the beginning, but later on, I started taking up projects that were like more of like commercial, about some products, even some other disease states, and that's how I gained some experience in the beginning by doing this freelancing, and I'm working as a full-time medical writer for one of the small startups in the USA.
Very cool. And just curious, what gears you towards the startup world versus like a more, I would say, corporate environment?
I would say it's more about like right now I'm in the Vancouver area, Canada. So if I was about to work in like bigger companies, their structure is quite rigid, and sometimes they won't allow something like somebody's working from like some other country or other part of the same country. So those problems are there. So I I prefer to have like that flexibility where I can have that luxury to work according to my timings, and that's why I think working for the small companies, it's more beneficial for me. More important point is that when I work in the smaller companies, I get to work at various levels. I don't have to stick to one particular task. For example, in bigger companies, you can just doing like slide preparations and day in, day out. So that's all. But working in smaller companies gives you that opportunity to look into different facets of medical writing, and it helps a lot.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The opportunity to explore the industry, I think, is huge. Uh, and I'd love to now jump into some of the skills and expertise in medical writing that it takes to succeed. So if we look at your current role, so how do you apply your expertise in, let's say, pharmacology and neuroscience to medical communications? And let's start there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think it's very helpful to have such a background that healthcare background or being a pharmacist or a pharmacologist. It helps a lot because it becomes easier to get familiarized to different topics that could be thrown in my way, to do some certain tasks. Um, uh, Talking about pharmacology, it gives me that confidence, knowing all the terminologies or the concepts, how the experimental designing is done, how the results are interpreted. So that gives me that edge to be more comfortable with the data I'm processing, and that's how it helps me. Uh, Talking about neuroscience again, it just once you have that done before, it just helps with the new assignments. You don't take too much time to get familiarized with the topic, and that's how it helps. But again, having said that, being a medical writer demands you to learn quickly, even if the topic is not that familiar. For example, for me, even working right now, I'm working on a lot of oncology projects.
Mhm.
That's not that wasn't like my forte, but now I'm more comfortable doing that too. So it just you have to adapt, but having previous knowledge, previous background helps a lot for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine, just a lot of the terminology, speaking the same language is can be incredibly helpful. And then when we also look at some of your clinical research experience, how do you feel like that has translated into your career as well?
Yes, again, when we look for, I come from purely academic background, so I had all the publications done while I was doing my grad studies or working in industry. It was in vivo pharmacology. I didn't have much exposure to the clinical trials or many more concepts associated with it. But I found this lacuna in my experience, and I decided to work on it. So I took this course, which was about clinical trials, information about clinical trials and pharmacovigilance, and it helped me a lot understanding the clinical trial world, the clinical studies, study designs, and how to interpret the results, and more importantly, the terminologies used in clinical trial studies, because they are different than what I used to do in academics. So yeah, it helps a lot.
That makes a lot of sense. And I'm curious, when we think about your current role, I like to also think about the future a bit. And the future often comes down to like what is trending right now in the industry. So when you observe medical writing, especially fields like HEOR and market access, can you, I guess, dive a little bit into what you're seeing as trends within these sectors?
Yes, I think HEOR and the market access parts, these are very important components of working in pharma industry, because all the drugs that are made, like new drugs, they depend their future, their earnings, everything depends on these two components. So these are very important parts of medical writing. Uh, Definitely, I didn't have much experience in it, but once I got into medical writing, I got exposure to, this is what, health economics outcome research is, this is market access. And I deliberately kind of decided that, I want to be more specific when I come to the medical writing. It gives me that edge that, it's more aligned, it's more applied to health, and that's why I decided to work in this area. As I said, HEOR, health economics and outcome research, it helps understanding particular, let's say, for example, a drug or an intervention, how it is affecting economically, and what are the outcomes, how it is helping the patients. So there's a balance, how much it costs and how much it helps the patients. So these studies are carried out for the HEOR. And market access is getting the drug available for population, for all patients. So it involves reimbursements, then coverage from different health plans. So clients from pharmaceutical company, they look for help in such in certain situations where, depending on what phase they are in. For example, if somebody is in like they are developing certain drug, they would need information about what is lacuna, what is missing piece in the market that we need to work on, that unmet need. So we help them with that. If the drug is already about to launch, then we help them with gathering all the information related to launch process. For example, helping them with budget impact models to see how that drug will affect the cost and how it will be taken by the plan makers. Now, HEOR, again, same thing. We do a lot of literature reviews for the clients, and I think for these reasons, it all comes down to having drug acceptable in the market, having drug with enough coverage for the market. And that's why I think these are HEOR and market access are very important component of medical writing. And working in these fields or respective streams, it definitely gives me that more confidence that, because I feel these are the core fields of the medical writing, and they are very helpful, and there's a very much potential right now as well as going in future.
Yeah, and I can't even imagine, there's so many variables in both those fields, and there's so much research within each one of those variables that you have to consider in order for a drug to be successful.
Yes.
And I know for many people who are watching this video, they're looking to jump into medical writing as a potential career role or the career change. And they're thinking of, what are the key things that would make me a successful medical writer? So if you had to highlight some of the key skills that they should think about to have success within this career path, what are some of the first things that come to mind?
Not so much as a skill, but I think the first thing comes to my mind is taking consideration of feedback from people who are doing better in the field or who are ahead in the field. It's very important. Constant learning is it's inevitable part of medical writing, and one should be able to take all the, let's say, criticism or the positive criticism as well as the feedback, and do self-development for betterment of skills. Having said that, there are certain other skills, for example, attention to detail. It's very important because I know that, for example, I'm working on certain manuscript for, let's say, for 4 days. I have to be very cautious about the draft, because after a certain time, we just cannot see some of the mistakes we do while writing the drafts. So having that attention to details will help a lot with these kind of situations. Besides that, I think ethics are also very important when it comes to medical writing. One should be very clear about it. So transparency, integrity, and accuracy of data, whatever you are presenting, and it should be without any distortions. So unbiased opinion about it. So these things help a lot as a medical writer.
And I think when it comes to some of these skills, would you say that, and just looking at your background, you've taken some certifications like the one from AMWA, and would you say that those help set the foundation with some of these skills? And can you talk a little bit about that, as well as just maybe other professional development opportunities that you think are valuable?
Yes, for sure. I think I got certification from AMWA, and it helps. First of all, it helps with understanding of language itself. English is not my first language, but when it comes to writing, I have certain skills that make me a writer. So it's important to have those skills, and those could be learned from these certification programs, which are helpful. So it helps yourself to be able to pitch yourself as a medical writer. At the same time, it also um, shows the recruiter that you are serious about this field and you intend to be get better, and that's why you have um, accomplished these achievements in terms of certifications. So I think they are very important. And I haven't recruited anyone, but as someone who was looking for an opportunity, I definitely felt that these certifications will be, they are very helpful to get at least like interview process to get the chance for interviews. Yeah.
Yeah, I think also just the brand name around AMWA is, has pretty large brand name. And I think, that likely helps with what you're saying, the chance for the interviews, right?
Yes. Yes.
And within medical writing, as you alluded to, there are a lot of variables you have to consider, and there's a lot of research that needs to be done, which leads me to this question about project management and team collaboration. So how do you see project management skills integrating into your role? And can you share an example of maybe how you work with team members and how pivotal that collaboration is and the project management process is to really delivering the final result of your work?
Yes, I think teamwork is an essential component for any work, and it's more important when it comes to medical writing because, as I said, I didn't have any HEOR and market access background before. So when I entered in as a pure writer in this medical writing field, there was a so there's a core team who works in HEOR and market access. So it's very helpful to know new things from them, and there's so much to learn. I just cannot put it in words. It's tremendous amount of information out there. One has to get better every day, learn something new every day. So when we have this kind of cross-functional team, it helps with that. Sharing our knowledge, as a writer with them and getting their feedbacks on it, and as well as learning from them when it comes to core HEOR and market access. So this is like give and take relationship, and it works great. Talking about project management, yes, it is very important to have control over projects so that the deliverables are they are turned around on in like least time, or at least on the timeline. So to achieve that, it's important to work as a team and get the assignments done on the time. So yeah, I think it's very important.
And when I think about project management and collaboration, oftentimes when you're dealing with other people, there's questions of ethics that may come up where you may find an error, and that may slow down the process of whether that's happens to be research, having successful trials, many different things, right? So when you navigate the ethical considerations, especially when dealing with data interpretation and reporting, what are some of the things that come to mind so you can ensure that you navigate those waters correctly? And how crucial are your communication skills around this with stakeholders? Because when things pop up around ethical consideration, being able to communicate it is so key. What does that look like?
Well, that's a very interesting question because the ultimate aim of whatever we do is making sure that we deliver the quality content to client which is acceptable to them. Sometimes it may happen that something is not, you don't feel that something is something is not right, and I think I mean, fortunately I haven't been in such a situation, but I mean the best way would be just letting them know that this is the thing bothering me, and that should be taken care of. And it may take some time, but I think the accuracy, clarity, and the transparency of data or anything you are presenting, it prevails over any other goals. So I think if the clients are enough understanding, they will definitely take care of this, because it's not just your writing, but it's clients, uh, their image is also at stake. So fortunately, haven't been in this situation, but yeah, that could be a tricky thing to do.
And when we look at navigating waters, ultimately people are trying to join and become a medical writer. One is often they're looking for a higher salary and medical writing seems to be that for people who love writing. And another aspect of it is they're looking to contribute to healthcare, and maybe it's pharmaceuticals, and be able to provide real value. And when we look at the benefits, what do you say are the benefits of being a medical writer to the industry as a whole? So as a medical writer, you help, whether that's ensuring successful trials or other variables. What comes to mind there?
I think, as I said, when we talk about HEOR and market access, these are very important components. And the clients, that is the pharmaceutical companies, stakeholders, they are they're very much dependent on these fields. So as on the medical writers, because having a successful drug launch, having loss of exclusivity coming up. So for some pharmaceutical companies, it's like their drug is about to get expired, it's called loss of exclusivity. So for them, it would be so much important to keep that drug in the market. And it's all about how the drug can be how can it be beneficial for pharmaceutical companies. And I think considering that role of any medical writers or people who are working in HEOR or market access is essential.
That makes sense. And then I'm curious, if you were to, let's say, hire someone today, because many people who are watching this video are looking to jump into medical writing, what are some of the key attributes that you'd look for, where you'd be like, this person would make a great hire to add to my team?
I think it would be, again, nobody like very, it's not known that, if some person has more experience in our background in writing or not. So basically it would be just, as I said before, it's more about certifications and what we have achieved. Let's say you go through the LinkedIn profile and you see that, certain person has achieved this, or is certified from MWA, has published, let's say, 10 manuscripts, has advanced degree in medical sciences, or let's say in biology in general. That would be a pretty good fit. Going forward from there, it all depends on the person or the candidate, to do teamwork and stuff like that. But the beginning part, which is proving that you have experience in writing and you could do it, I think that's the most essential part that will take you to to the interviews, and things can go from there.
And Sagar, I know we covered a lot today. Is there anything else that you want to leave our audience with? Any thoughts about maybe any topics that we covered, or anything else that we didn't cover?
I think I would like to point out like what kind of difficulties one can face transitioning from academics to let's say core research to medical writing. So one of the things I had was that when you are in academics working in lab, working on certain projects, you have to get all the details, all the information about, let's say, some methodology or some particular experiment. So that's the mindset of a grad student. Now, when you enter into medical writing, you don't have that luxury that to gather all the information you have, and then you start conducting, or at least like writing manuscripts and stuff. So to switch that from I need all the information to I need only essential information. It was a bit tough for me personally, but over the period, I think you learn to use that available information and make most of it and give the deliverables on time. So that is one of the things new students who are looking to break into this field will learn over the time. I'm just this is something comes to my mind when I talk to students who are looking to get into the field.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. There's so much information that you have to simplify and really find what are the key insights here and what do I actually need from all of this. I just want to thank you so much for being with us today, and for anybody who's watching this video, and if they want to connect with you, can they connect with you on any platforms like LinkedIn?
Yeah, sure. I have my LinkedIn account, so I can share my details. I guess below the video, or I can just tell right now.
No, I'll go ahead and link to your LinkedIn URL right below the video in the description.
Okay.
And that way, if students want to connect with you, they can do just that.
Sure. Yeah.
Make sure if you're watching this video, which you are, then go ahead and check out the description and connect with Sagar there. And again, thank you so much for being with us today, and excited for your journey and all the things that you're doing in the medical writing world.
Thank you very much, Josh. Thank you.
Cheers.